What's going on, everybody, and welcome back once again to the channel. Before we get into today's video, make sure to subscribe and sack that like button. We're trying to get to 275 subscribers by the end of the year. So, without further ado, let's begin. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my Week 9 NFL preview, and without further ado, let's begin. So, the Thursday night game, tomorrow's game, this is actually literally the best team in football versus the worst team in football. um, you know, um, if you saw my power rankings video yesterday, I ranked the Eagles #1, ranked the Texans 32nd, and I think a lot of people would agree with each of those things. So obviously I'm going to pick the Eagles to win this game in a massive blowout. I'm taking the Eagles 45-14. I just don't see how the Texans are going to be able to stop the run or really stop anything. Then the Colts at the Patriots. I think this is going to be a very low-scoring game. Sam Ehlinger making his second start. He's a young quarterback. Bill Belichick always has his ways with young quarterbacks, usually at least. I'm going to take the Patriots to win this one 19-7 in an ugly game. And then the Packers at the Lions, a divisional matchup here. I think we all know how this is going to go. Either the Lions are going to go up 17-0 and lose the game, or the Packers are going to go up 17-0 and the Lions are going to come back and then lose anyway. Regardless, the Packers are probably going to win. I'm taking the Packers 31-24. Their offense should do well against the Lions defense. Then the Chargers at the Falcons. Looking at this game initially, I was thinking Chargers for sure, but now I went kind of back and forth on it because the Falcons are playing good football. Chargers are really erratic. I'm still going to lean towards the Chargers to win it 28-21. I think the Chargers will be able to get things going against the secondary of the Falcons, and I think the running game may be a struggle for the Falcons in that game, especially without Cordell Patterson, who is returning to practice finally, so that'll be a big bolster for them when he returns. Then the Bills at the Jets. I think the Bills should really just overpower the Jets defense. The Jets defense is good, but it's not that good, and I think the Zach Wilson is probably going to throw another 3 or 4 picks in this game against the Bills. I got the Bills winning it 31-14. Then the Vikings at the Commanders. Kirk Cousins gets to play his former team again. Honestly, the Vikings should win this pretty easily. I got the Vikings winning it 31-17. I know the Commanders are 4-4, so if the Commanders actually win this game, they'll be 5-4. But I don't see it happening. And really, at least one thing Commanders fans have to look forward to. Actually, 2 things. One, Chase Young is practicing. He may actually play this week or maybe next week, so they'll get to see him. And then the other thing is, it sounds like Dan Snyder might be preparing to sell the team, so that's a major plus. Then the Panthers at the Bengals. The Bengals need a win here. They cannot lose this game. I think Joe Mixon's going to have a huge game. Panthers' run D is terrible. I think this is a huge game for Joe Mixon. I think he has well over 100 yards rushing. I think the Panthers will be able to run the ball well too, though, against the Bengals' front 7, Chuba Hubbard and Dante Foreman. I think it's going to be a really, really heavy run-oriented game by both sides because both sides have good secondaries but bad front 7s, and they both have good running backs to lean on. But I'm going to take the Bengals to outdo them 31-23. Then the Raiders at the Jaguars. This is a interesting game. I think the Jaguars' season's pretty much over. I think the Raiders are pretty much done. But this will be the nail in the coffin for them if they lose this game. It's down in Florida, in Jacksonville, Duval. The Raiders have a bad history in the state of Florida. I'm gonna take the Jaguars to get the win here, 24-21. I think these 2 teams are actually pretty evenly matched. It could go either way, but I'm leaning towards the Jaguars since they're the home teams. Then the Dolphins at the Bears. Dolphins struggle up north sometimes. Bears do have a solid defense, even though it didn't look that good against the Cowboys. Bears have a young secondary. They're probably going to have a tough time at times against that receiving core of the Dolphins. But Chase Claypool will be making his debut as a Bear, as he was traded yesterday. I made a video on that. Go check it out if you haven't already. I have a hunch feeling about the Bears in this game. They're a team that's proven they have a lot of heart, and it starts with their quarterback. And I think now with a weapon like Chase Claypool, I'm actually going to take the Bears to win this game 24-21. Now, this isn't a knock on the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are the better team, but I just have a hunch that it's one of those games where the Bears, they're playing at home, they're fired up, they got their new receiver who's supposed to help bolster them a little bit offensively. I think the Bears are going to pull this game out. Like I said, 24-21 Bears. Then the Seahawks at the Cardinals. These two teams already played earlier in the year. Seahawks won in a low-scoring defensive battle, 19-9, which was surprising at the time. Not so much because the Seahawks won, but because of how low-scoring it was. I thought it would be a high-scoring game. This time I'm going to say it's a high-scoring game again, even though it was low-scoring last time. I think the Cardinals' secondary is very bad. I think the way Geno Smith's been playing, he's going to be able to cook that defense with DK Metcalf and company. I think the Cardinals will be able to get points on the board too with all those receivers they have to work with. I'm going to take the Cardinals to win it 31-30. It could go either way, but I'm leaning towards the Cardinals in this one. Then the Rams at the Buccaneers. I believe this is the game of the week, but it really may not look like it the way these two teams have been playing. Neither one of them have been playing good on offense, and neither one of them have really been playing that good on defense. This will be the rematch of the epic divisional round game where Tom Brady and the Buccaneers nearly came back from being down 27-3 in the late third quarter. It's in Tampa. Rams usually struggle down there, but I will say this: they beat the Bucs last year in Tampa in a playoff game, so I don't think that should matter much. But the Rams really, really struggled to run the football. They didn't make any moves for a running back before the trade deadline, and the Buccaneers have one of the best run defenses in the NFL. I think the running game is going to be non-existent for the Rams, which means they're going to be having to pass it at least probably 40, maybe even 50 times this game, and they're going to keep going to Cooper Kupp, and the Bucs are just going to zero in on him, and it's just going to be bad for the Rams. I don't see the Rams being able to get too many points on the board. Now for the Bucs, I think they are going to have their struggles too offensively, but I think they'll do just enough to outdo the Rams. I got the Bucs winning at 20-13. The loser of this game, I don't want to say their season's over because we're talking about the team that just won the Super Bowl last year and then a team led by Tom Brady. So I'm not going to say the season's over for either one of these teams if they were to lose, but it definitely is very bad for the loser of this game. Then you got the Titans and my Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. This is the first time the Titans returned to Kansas City since the AFC Championship game 3 years ago where the Chiefs kicked their ass back to Tennessee. Now, last year, which was the first time they had played since that game, the Titans blew them out 27-3, and the Chiefs then didn't lose another game after that all the way until week 16, I want to say, against the Bengals. So, obviously these two teams have a pretty strange history over the last few years. They've had a weird history over the entire Andy Reid era. A couple of playoff games, a couple of weird epic regular season games. The Chiefs should win this game though. They're the way better team, and they're coming off a bye. Andy Reid coming off a bye is one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time. I think the Chiefs will be able to slow down Derrick Henry. They have a solid run defense. It's unsure if Ryan Tannehill will play in this game. I think regardless, the Chiefs should be able to win this. I'm going to take the Chiefs 28-23. I think it will be a game in which the Chiefs get off to a fast start, and then the Titans slow it down a bit as the game goes on with Henry and make it sound closer. I got the Chiefs 28-23. And then the final game of the week, the Monday night game, Ravens at the Saints, a big matchup. This should be a fun one too. Seeing Lamar Jackson go up against that defense, see what the Ravens defense can do against those Saints receivers and Alvin Kamara and company. This is another one that can go in either way. It's in the Superdome, but I'm going to take the Ravens to win it 26-23. I think Lamar Jackson may have a big game on the ground, maybe go for over 100 yards rushing if he gets the opportunities, because the Saints don't have, I think, a true linebacker who can follow him around unless they put a safety on a spy. So I think it will be interesting to see how Lamar does against this defense. I think it matches up well. I got the Ravens winning it. So comment down below what you guys think about all these games. Tell me who you think's going to win some of these games. And other than that, I'll see you guys next time.